Okay, I think we're live, Ralph. Hey, everybody. I'm Shannon with Shine Radiant. I'm going to wait just a minute or two so that we can have a couple of people come on. I know you guys are busy today, being Christmas Eve, and you're running around doing your thing. So I just want to say hello. I'm glad to have a special guest today, and I can't wait to introduce him. Cannot wait to introduce him. I'm just wanting to give some value today and some inspiration, and I had the perfect person to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. First, I want to introduce the founding pastor of Cornerstone Community Church in Millville, New Jersey. Let me tell you a little something about him. He's a motivational speaker. He's a business consultant and author. He is also the founder and vice president of Cities Hope Community Development Corporation and the founder of Project U. Now, he is also a member of the National Speakers Association, both the national and the Philadelphia chapters. In 2011, he retired as a police sergeant, where he spent 20 years in the New Jersey Police Department. And he will tell you that his biggest accomplishment, and I do agree, is marrying his high school sweetheart, Christine, I know as Tina Graves. They've been married, I think, for 28 years. They have 3 beautiful children and 3 grandchildren that I know of, but he can clear that up for you himself if I misspoke. This is my family, brother, friend, brother from another mother, the Reverend Ralph D. Graves, Jr.
Hi, thank you for all of that. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I am so glad to have you on. I mean, look, it's Christmas Eve, and I just want to first thank you because let me tell you guys, this was literally last minute, okay? I was looking at what I wanted to read for 2021. And going through, making sure I had my books ordered. I have several friends that are publishers now, published authors. And this isn't Reverend Graves' first book, second. And it's been out for a while, and I've been meaning to get it. So this morning, I got on Amazon, and I ordered the book, Unstoppable. And I texted him to see if he could autograph it for me before I got it, or if I needed to wait until it came. And it dawned on me right then, why don't you ask him what he's doing today? And literally, because I am so blessed and favored, he said that he would come on today. And if anyone, and I asked him specifically because I am finding that so many people are stressed and tripping, right? I mean, really, literally. And if anyone can give us a word of inspiration, I know my brother, Reverend Ralph D. Graves Jr. can.
Yeah.
So tell me, tell the people, Christmas Eve, what were you doing today that you could say yes to me?
Shopping like everybody else. I had some last minute things to go get, but I figured at this time I'll be home and relaxing. So, and that's what I'm doing. I got home about an hour ago, but yeah, you caught me. I was just about to go to the gym. I'm a gym rat. I was about to go to the gym, and I said, sure. You know what? 4:00, I'll be done everything, and here we are. So
amazing. One of the things I love about you too is taking care of your body. So let me say this publicly because I've said it to you privately, but I want to first give my condolences for the loss of your dad. It hasn't been that long. The great Ralph D. Graves, Reverend Ralph D. Graves Senior, recently passed. It's only been a month.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're going through your grieving process too. This is your first year without your dad, who baptized me, married me, christened my children, And you even, you utilize, how do you say utilize? Thank
Eulogized.
you. You did your dad's funeral.
Yeah.
You also did my uncle's funeral last week. Thank you for
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah.
So tell me, how are you doing? How are you and the family doing?
We're doing okay. We're doing all right. I mean, of course, we miss him. I still find myself saying, "Hey, I got to call Dad for a quick second," you know. But as far as grieving as people without hope, we don't grieve like that. We know where my father is. We know that we will see him again. He was born again. I am born again, so I know I'll see him again. But there is a void, and I do miss him. But our relationship was we were so very tight. There was nothing left unsaid. There was nothing left undone. He poured his entire life into me and my brother and our families, and of course my mother. So we just wanted him to be at rest. I didn't want him to suffer anymore. And so, but we do miss him. We do miss him.
Yeah. Your dad was amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he is missed.
Yeah.
And there are, many people that are going through challenges right now. And I really think that these tough challenges are either going to make us or they're going to break us.
Yeah, sure.
And I want to ask you a little bit, Ralph. Can I just say Ralph? Is that okay?
You sure can.
Well, I mean, I do that privately, but
Yeah, you can do that.
Thank you. So, how would you sum up your childhood? What was great about it?
Just my parents. They were always there. I mean, I come up in what they call a nuclear family. It was great with that security of having both mom and dad in the house and always available. They worked hard, but they were available they were there raising my brother and I. My dad never missed a football game. He never missed a baseball, basketball, track competition, as busy as he was. And my mom didn't either. And she was a school teacher. And so those two both were always there. And so it was great having both parents in there. And, it was a sense of security. It was a sense of security. I think we really enjoyed that. Yeah.
Wonderful. That says a lot too, because I know your dad was super, super busy when you were growing up. So tell me, what, sir, would you say was one of your biggest challenges growing up, and how did it prepare you for right now?
My biggest challenge growing up, expectation. Everybody, a lot of folks expected me to either act a certain way or do a certain thing or carry myself a certain way, and not understanding that I was individual. Now, my parents, thank God, they recognize our individuality, me and my brother, and they gave us space and grace to grow. But it has strengthened me. You know what? I'm gonna tell you what a really huge challenge was for me. In elementary school, I didn't go to public school. In elementary school, I went to private school, and I went to a private Christian school. And out of about 200 students, 4 of them were Black, and 1 was my brother. And so we're going through this Christian elementary school, and during the time of Roots. So I was Kunta Kinte, I was Chicken George. Oh man, they really tried to put us through it, but we were tough kids. And but it has taught me now in my later years that I can communicate with everybody, whether they be Black, white, Hispanic, no matter, because I've been out there and had to deal with everybody. So it really helped me. It really helped me understand some things about our white brothers in the evangelical church that I'm still trying to. I'm able to move in and among them because of that, even though we have a lot of fences that need to be torn down, a lot of walls that need to come down. But it was a trying time, and that was before 8th grade. I mean, at 8th grade, starting 8th grade, I'm going through it, man. I'm going through it. And finally, I get to public school, and it's all love. Imagine that. In Christian school, we're hated. Public school, it's all love. So.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? That kind of segues into my next question, because I feel like we need to talk a little bit, for a minute at least, about your career as a police officer, because race relations have been really tough this year. And my perspective is a little different because I have loved ones like you, like
Yeah.
Reverend Brown, like
Yeah.
my brother,
Yeah.
who are police officers or were police officers. And I had
Yeah.
uncles who were police officers. So, what can you say to people who refer to the situation on one side or the other? Does the system, in your opinion, need to change?
The system does need to change. But I warn folks that get their information from watching the news, get their information from just watching TV shows. Something was behind all of those things that fueled those things. The problems that we have had as a people, the problems that we have had as police officers, they go back 100 years. 100 years. Yeah, there's something wrong with the system, but within any department, you have some phenomenal men and women who are doing their best, but our media highlights who. It's not news to highlight the men and women that are doing a great job. It's news to highlight the ones we're trying to get rid of anyway. And so they highlight them and they do dumb things, and then now they represent all of us. But yes, the system needs to be looked at and worked on, and law enforcement they are looking at it now. It's not going to happen overnight, but they are looking at it. But I would just be careful about what we read and what we see and what we believe, and allowing that to give you a certain attitude.
Okay.
Don't allow that to give you a certain attitude. Nothing's as bad as it seems, and nothing's ever as good as it seems.
That's a quotable.
Yeah.
That sounds like a quotable.
Yeah.
Well, nothing's as bad as it seems. Nothing's as good as it seems. Well, what about as it seems? What about you as a police officer? What was your experience in uniform?
Oh, I was, I elevated up in rank. I was the master of de-escalating things. I would show up on the scene. One of a story I tell, and it was very. I'm glad I was there. It was about 2 a.m. I'm a supervisor, so I got people out in the street doing what they do. I'm riding to get my cup of coffee, So it might be later than that, and I see about 4 of white cops got 2 brothers pulled over, and I just stopped. I just stopped. And I mean, these young black guys, man, they were just letting these guys have it, and it was escalating. And I said, hold up. I walked up and I told the brother, I said, let me talk to you for a minute. And I pulled him aside. I pulled him away from all of it. I ain't scared of you. I ain't scared of you. And I said, listen, brother, I didn't stop for you to be scared of me. I said, listen, I stopped for you. All right. If I leave, if they have their way with you, all right, you're going to get locked up. The car going to get towed. And his whole demeanor changed. I walked back. Everything was done right, and they were in the wrong. They were in the wrong. Everything was done like it was supposed to be done, and everything. And the guys were like, "Oh yeah, Sarge, man, you shut them guys down." And little did they know, I just talked to them. And so not long after that, this young man was at a cookout and ran into a friend of mine, and told the story and said, "I'm just so grateful that he stopped and talked to me and let me see what was going on." And we all went home that night. So it's you got to take the time. I was out there for the people. Me and my squad, we were out there for the people. I didn't like locking everybody up. I mean, I kept the streets safe, yeah, but that little minor car stops and stuff like that. No, we're not going to escalate these things out of control. We're not.
Okay, well, let me ask you this: have you been disrespected or felt nervous when you were not in uniform if you were being approached by a police officer, maybe of a different race?
Oh yeah, without a doubt, because of what they get indoctrinated with, and then what we see. But I know how to talk the language, how to speak the language, and again, de-escalating. Hey man, I know what you do for a living, and so we talk, and it just comes right down. But I can see. And a lot of times police departments hire these young guys, young kids. You know what I said? And I'm going to say this to you, my dear sister. We did police work. These kids today play Call of Duty.
Okay. Gotcha.
They were raised on
I had
video
to think
games.
about that.
They were raised, and so they police like they're playing a video game.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that's why it's I look out there now and I see these guys 21, 22, and they're just full of it. They're full of all their courage and bravado. And really, you're out here, you ought to serve the people and not treat the folks like you're playing a video game,
Serve the people.
Yeah.
So were you concerned for your son as a dad? And what did you teach him?
No, because I taught, he knows how to talk to police officers. He knows how to talk to people. I think, whether I was a police officer or not, you have to teach your children how to communicate with authority. And I used to tell them, listen, you're not going to win that moment. You're not going to win that argument. You're not going to win that moment. Yes, sir. No, sir. All that pride, get that stuff out the window. If he's wrong, we'll win that in court, but we're not going to win that moment at 2 a.m. on the street with just you and him. You're not going to win that moment. You're not going to win.
Right.
So
I think some of the escalation has been because, like you said earlier, there are some of those few bad apples that are going to take advantage and have of the situation, and people have gotten hurt. Well, thank you for kind of going there with me a little bit. I know those are hard questions.
And I'm retired. You know how long I've been retired?
Well, it's been 9 years now, right?
About 9 to 10 years. I am so glad I retired right on time. I couldn't have been out there today. I couldn't have, because I would probably fired my whole squad by now. I wouldn't have been out there.
Whoa, that says a lot right there. Yeah. Well, not only was it race relations in 2020, it was also the year of the pandemic. And so I want to ask you about that, because if I'm not mistaken, Tina is a nurse, right?
She is.
Right? And so is your daughter a nurse too?
No.
Okay, Jasmine's not, but Tina is.
Yes.
And Jersey, like Florida, has been a hot spot. We both have huge families. We're all family, which is something that's interesting that I'm finding out as a joke. In our culture and the way we grew up, we're just, your dad was my Uncle Ralph, and your grandma was my Aunt Court. We just grew up like that. But anywho, what has been your experience? You're a pastor of a large congregation. We have older members of our family. All of that. What has been your experience and with Tina as a nurse as well?
Well, I guess like everybody else, I've had to learn. Well, I didn't have to learn. I've always done it. You have to pivot. You have to, life is going to throw you all kinds of stuff, and you never change the goal, but you might have to change the play or change the plan. And all COVID-19 did for me was just allow me to change the plan and find, I'm the kind of guy, I find opportunities in every struggle. I believe in every struggle, there's an opportunity. Now, you're either going to find it or you're going to cry about the struggle. I'm not one who's going to sit back and cry about the struggle. I'm going to find the opportunity. And so I found a lot of opportunities within this. I refuse to be fearful. So I was able to find a lot of opportunities. As far as my wife is concerned, she's out there every single solitary day, and we take care of ourselves. Nobody had to tell me to wash my hands. Nobody had to tell me to take my vitamins, or I've been taking my vitamins. I've been taking IV therapy for 2 years now. Every week I get vitamin C and A and glutathione and all that straight into my system. I train a lot. So this COVID thing didn't strike panic in our hearts and in fear with really anybody in my circle. As far as pastoring a church, it gave us an opportunity. We've been doing live stream for 10 years. So when people were scrambling, trying to get it started, I'm like, we're already here. And so we tweaked a few things, but other than that, it really hasn't been, I don't want to say concerning, but it really hasn't stopped what I'm doing, what my wife is doing, what my family's doing, or what my church is doing. It hasn't stopped.
I thank her for what she's doing, being, first, on the front lines. Yeah, I'm a little more cautious. My kids say I'm a germaphobe anyways. That was way before COVID. So I'm a little careful with COVID, but I
Yeah.
agree with you. I mean, pivoting, there's a lot of pivoting, and there was a lot of potential opportunity to serve. And I don't know, just things changed.
Yeah.
But
Man, let me say this. There are
yeah,
opportunities every day, everywhere.
yeah, yeah.
Every day, even if you say you're a germaphobe, there's still opportunities in that. There's opportunity. We all look at this COVID thing different, and you handle it the way you handle it. I handle it the way I handle it. But there's opportunities within all of this. Today brought some opportunities. Why I had to be on your show. Opportunity to meet you and meet your audience. I'll see you again and meet your audience and be on this platform. And so, but there's opportunities in everything. And so, I have friends and family that are scared to death. Now, it's not my point of view. I'm not scared to death. But I have others that are like, hey, man, we just got to do what we got to do. But even in that cautiousness, the folks I'm talking about are beyond cautious. They are scared to death. And that freezes you. Now, you should be cautious. We're all cautious. But you shouldn't be to the point where you let fear paralyze you and freeze you, and you can't move, and you can't develop new strategies, and you can't. No. I'm a believer, right? I love the Lord. You said it. I was a pastor of a church, but I must let the folks know I'm saved. A lot of pastors ain't, but I'm saved, right? And so I just believe the word of God. I believe what he says. And I'm going to do what he called me to do. But we have to look inside of every struggle. There are opportunities, and you can't let it freeze you or put you into fear to where you stop growing into who God called you to be. This is what I wanted to say.
Correct.
This particular time that we're going through, did not sneak up on God.
No, it didn't.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
People like to say this is tough time, and I kind of changed the language. This is just time. It's just our time. If we couldn't handle it, we wouldn't have been allowed to be born in this time. We're born in this time to be impactful, to be effective, to bless others, to make an impact. It's just time. And in every culture during every time, there were some hardships. It's just ours, man. Whoever it's just ours. And so we're built for it. You're built for it.
I agree wholeheartedly. I don't think we should be foolish, and I know that's not what you're saying.
Yeah.
We should, do what we need to do. But like you said, there's plenty of opportunity. And so speaking of that, I want to touch on your Project U.
Sure.
Project U. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Project U is it's a coaching. It's a coaching company where you'll spend 90 days with me. I only take people through about 90 days, and we don't do 2 or 3 years, because I believe that, in 90 days, once we have to begin to practice what we learn, and then after the 90 days, we could talk about going further. But Project U, we kind of go over a lot of the things that are in my book. We talk about the law of habit, the law of control. We talk about the law of reciprocity. There's some stuff I would send out to you, and we kind of go over these things together and find out what kind of personality a person possesses, and just really try to get the best out of you to prepare you or propel you into your greatness, into your purpose, into what you've been called. I don't believe anybody is here on this planet by mistake. I just don't believe it.
We share that, brother. Yeah. We share that. I love that. Yeah. And we all have a purpose. I love that. I think that I know you're busy, right? But you're still able to do all of these things. And like you said, it's a trying time, but you're still moving. So what can people do that are really struggling? Besides, one of the things they can do is Project U. What advice would you have for people so that, I don't know, I've just heard so many people tell me how they're stressing. And, I mean, I look at this, and I know you do too, this time of the year a little bit different. I mean, we look at it as Jesus' birthday. So, I mean, all going crazy over the shopping. I don't get it. I mean, we're kind of in a pandemic anyway. So what are you doing? But people, okay, whether it's grieving, whether they're sick, whether they're dealing with finances. I mean, people are really dealing with some tough stuff. What would you say? Yeah, it's real. What would you say to them? What piece of advice do you have for those who are stressed to the max?
The first thing is, and it's going to sound crazy, accept it. This is your challenge. This is what you're going through right now. Accept it. I have to face it before I fix it. If I usually stress, and we stress the most when we know something is there and we really don't face it, or we know what we have to do and really don't do it. Okay, let's accept it. This is where we are. This is either by our own fault or by no fault whatsoever. This is it. So the first thing I have to do is accept it. When I accept it, I face it. When I face it, guess what? Fear leaves. Fear retreats when you face what you were afraid of. So I'm going to face it. I'm going to accept responsibility for it. I'm going to do what I have to take, or do what I need to do to mitigate it or to reduce the severeness of it, and I'm going to accept responsibility. So the first thing is face it. Stress leaves, fear leaves when you face it. Okay, I don't have no job. Okay, I weren't able to give gifts out this year. Okay, I got a bad doctor's report. Now, I can sit around and cry about the report I got from the doctor, or I can face it and begin my fight against that prognosis.
Okay. Face it. You gotta face it to fix it. I love that.
Now, David had to face Goliath to kill him, right?
Yes, he did. Was that a sermon though? Because that sounded like a good one.
No.
Fix it. I'm serious. I love that. I love that.
I remind myself every day. I remind myself, hey, Ralph, you got to face that, man. When I'm wrong, I got to face it. If I said something that hurt somebody's feelings, let me face that and let me ask for forgiveness and let me say, you know what? Wow, let me take a step back. I was wrong. But I can't fix it unless I face it.
There you go. Yeah. So I appreciate that. Tell us about a little bit more, because I think you touched on it a little. Tell us about the most recent book that I just purchased today. I can't wait to read it. Unstoppable. I love the name Unstoppable. That's hot, man. That is hot. I'm so excited.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for purchasing the book. I mean, out of all the books in the world you could have bought, you bought that one. And so I think that's huge. And I don't count that a small thing. It's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. And it was just laws that I learned from my 20 years as a police officer that I've seen. I've seen people successful in all walks of life, no matter what color they are, no matter their educational level. I've seen them successful because they applied universal laws. Now, what they are is this. I tell people gravity is a universal law.
Yep.
You don't respect it, you're going to get hurt.
You're going to get hurt.
Forgiveness is a universal law. You don't respect it, you're going to get hurt. Habit is a universal law.
What was that one?
Habit. The law of habit.
HABIT.
Yes, habit. Habit is universal. You see, within this world that God created, there are laws. And that anybody, Christian, non-Christian, Muslim, I tell the story all the time. I'm a believer. If I got on top of the Empire State Building with a non-believer or somebody else, we jump off. The Christian ain't gonna grow wings. He disrespected gravity like everybody else. So
that's right.
And so and I'm just, there are so many universal laws. I just deal with 7 of them. I just deal with 7 that I've applied, that I've seen, that once you master them, your life will transform.
And that's cool. That's hot. Now, I did not know that it was the 7 principles. When with my Radiant system, I actually have 7 principles for that system that I believe that you should follow. And Radiant is an acronym for the seven principles. Okay. And the first one, R, is rest.
Rest. All right.
So let me ask you, sir. Yes, rest.
Yeah.
Do you take like your own advice? Because I know you're really into fitness. Yeah. So are you taking some time out now to rest, or do you get your rest?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've incorporated a Sabbath. My Sabbath is Monday. That's my day. I don't get up early. I don't do anything. Again, it's a biblical principle. Mm-hmm. God created the world in 6 days, and on the 7th day, he rested. Mm-hmm. So I could work hard for 6 days, and I follow his prescription of a 7th day. Well, I don't do nothing. I don't answer calls. I don't do a whole lot. I just do me, whatever that may be. But yes, I rest. I make sure I get my rest. My body has to recover. I'm human. Yep. We get 24 hours in a day. The only difference between who we are and who someone else is what we did with those 24 hours. And rest has to be part of it. So yes, I do get my rest. Yeah.
I am so glad to hear that, because so many people that are serving and that are giving value, and particularly like ministers and caregivers, because you serve. I mean, you're a servant, so you're a caregiver. It's really hard for caregivers to take that downtime. And I think that you probably have gotten that too from your whole fitness background, because you use the word recover. Yeah. And in order to be healthy and whole, you need to rest and recover. So I'm really glad to hear that, because I know how busy you are. I bet people wonder though, how do you fit it all in? How do you do it all that you're doing? You're running your businesses, you're taking care, you've got the wife and the kid and the grandkids and the congregation, and you still find time. Do you hear that, friends? Yeah. He still finds time to rest.
But here's the funny part. Like, we all get the same amount of time. I just don't spend it watching TV. I don't spend it doing anything that I don't think is productive. I mean, you get a choice. I mean, I watch TV on Mondays when I ain't doing anything, but you have 24 hours. And so I just want to be productive. But my day starts at 4:30. And it ends, I try to be in bed. Yeah. I try to be in bed by 8:30. But but some days I'm out later, teaching classes or whatever the case may be. But it's all about what you do. See, here's the thing. If we needed 25 hours, God would have gave us 25 hours. If I needed 24 hours and 30 seconds, he would have gave me 24 hours and 30 seconds. He gave me 24. Now he says you can be impactful, you can grow, you can be a man of purpose or a woman of purpose every day within this 24 hours. It's up to you what you do with it. So I just now listen. I worked 20 years. Mm-hmm. I've been married 30 years.
It's 30 now. Wow. So
I was the kid when I got married. I've been married 30 years. Yeah. I've raised a kid. So I did all of that. I praise God. I did all that. I followed the pattern of my parents in doing it. But there's, it's all about what you do with your time. I don't think I'm busy. I might look busy. I don't think I'm busy. I think I'm just living life.
You have balance. Yeah. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time today. I am so humbled and honored that you took the time to spend with me.
Thank you.
And I want to thank everyone that is listening live and those who will listen later, because we are both a work in progress, and a masterpiece at the same time. We were all meant to shine.
That's
You
right.
do have greatness inside of you, and I know Reverend would say the same thing.
Right.
And we believe in you. We love you, and there is nothing that you can do about it. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Yay!
Thank you.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody.